The other week, I talked about a situation where the VA for Blake Belladonna in RWBY, Erin, brought up complaints that she has with the writer on the new RWBY anime produced in Japan, that writer being Tao Ubakata. She made a tweet about it, and also some follow-up tweets, which we will go over in this video. But if you missed my original segment, let me get you in the loop briefly here. So, it seems the situation that she brought up regarding Ubakata is something that occurred back in 2015. A situation where his wife accused him of doing something physical to her. However, the police found no evidence of this physical thing actually being done, and the wife herself later retracted the statement and also dropped the charges entirely. Didn't want the charges to actually go through. Now, to my understanding, again, the police didn't actually find any evidence of this, and they weren't going to press charges on him anyways. But that's kind of the wording of articles that report on the situation, that she didn't want the charges to go through anyways. So make of all that what you will. Now, ultimately, I'm not telling you what to think about this one way or the other. You're more than welcome to think that he is guilty of this thing or he's innocent. Think whatever you want about it. I'm just giving you the news on the situation with Erin and some info on what I believe that she's talking about. Now, ultimately, moving forward, Ubakata responded to Erin's tweet saying that he's completely innocent and that the wife and him have moved on from the situation and they don't really appreciate it being brought up all over again. Although the caveat being that the wife and him have since broken up. I don't know if it was over that or something else that occurred down the road. Again, this happened in 2015, so who really knows when it happened and why it happened, but they have since broken up, although he claims that they are on good terms. They still talk, and once again, they have just wanted to move on from the situation that they left in the past back in 2015, and yet here Erin is bringing it up. Now, furthermore, we have the new statements from Erin, and it seems like she has not acknowledged what Ubakata has said at all, but let's take a look at what she does say, starting with this. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for their support. It's important to me to speak up about things I believe firmly in because I was made to be quiet for so long about them in the past. I want to clarify, I reached out to Rooster Teeth after I tweeted. I believe the RT is for Rooster Teeth. Moving on. They've been wonderfully understanding and responsive to my fears and discomfort. I appreciate their respect towards my trauma response. Healing takes time and is often not perfect. Secondly, I don't want this dark cloud to overshadow this project that we've been putting our heart and soul into for years. The joy of this new adventure for the RWBY girls is something that can't be taken away from me, and I hope not from you either. I'm so very proud and excited to share what's next for the RWBY team. Now, just as a side note, I don't believe she has any involvement with the new RWBY project aside from being the dub VA of Blake Belladonna. And here's her next statement. Sending you all love and gratitude. I'm not tweeting for a lack of things to say. Things are being worked out internally. I understand this is how it should have gone in the first place. That's on me. For that, I apologize. Again, healing from trauma isn't perfect and oftentimes messy, so appreciate your patience with me right now. Currently figuring things out. And then she added this one. Hello again, Blake Belladonna. I'm really so very excited to be voicing the dub for Blake Belladonna in the new anime RWBY Iced Queendom. How strange is it to say I'll be dubbing her? But I'm beyond excited for this project, and what a really cool way to come back after being away from her for so long. I also want to take this time to let you know things have been discussed and worked out internally. I cannot say much, but I can tell you that I will be donating my paychecks from this show to charity. I understand that this might not be the information you were looking for, but I won't be speaking on this further. Again, beyond excited to be back in the booth with my lady in black, kicking you know what, and fighting bad guys once more with their team. Can't wait to share with you all soon. So she is a bit vague about what exactly occurred internally and if Ubakata is still on this project or not. I suppose we may get some more news about that down the road, or maybe we just have to wait until the credits are out and this thing's out officially. Now, if you're also out of the loop about what she is referring to regarding her trauma, to my understanding, looking into articles talking about this and apparently things that she has said about it, she is likely referring to her prior relationship with Bob Morley, known for being a star in the show The 100. According to an article from girlfriend.com.au, they have an alleged quote here from Erin where she said, Bob emotionally and verbally abused me. She claims Morley yelled at her frequently for things as silly as not knowing what Akira was, or for sharing her poetry and having the audacity to think it's good, and also for sleeping in too much. She also claims he had a problem with her bisexuality and was furious when he found out. So much so, that she was too afraid to mention it again. And just so you are aware, I have seen fans of Bob Morley defending him. For example, showing evidence of Bob Morley supporting LGBTQIA+ issues going as far back as like 2017, which I believe is before they were even actually dating, so they've disputed that claim that he's against that or something of the sort. But once again, I'm not here to sway your opinion on that. I'm just giving you some more information according to what was reported by girlfriend.com.au. And you can look into this more yourself if you'd like, and or ultimately make of it all what you will. On a related note, I have seen people saying that it's distasteful for Eren to bring up this situation regarding Ubakata from 2015, in which the ex-wife wants to move on from it, and that if she believes it actually did happen, if Ubakata actually did do these things to her, it's rather distasteful, once again, for her to bring it up for her sake, for the sake of her trauma, and not actually thinking and respecting the alleged victim in that case. The alleged victim, of course, being Ubakata's wife, or rather ex-wife. Now, I do think it is fair for people to be skeptical of Eren's motives here, because as I pointed out, I find it odd that she was completely silent, at least from what I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't believe I'd ever seen her talking about a few situations that she should be much more familiar with than this Ubakata one, not just because they occurred more recently, but because they were involving people more directly related to Rooster Teeth and or even her coworker, her associate, Damon Mills. And I phrase it that way because the guy had voiced Leo Lionheart on RWBY, and I do believe that they've done conventions together. So the Damon Mills situation, as I pointed out in my prior video, was one where back in March, the man was accused of doing terrible things to a minor. The minor has since dropped those charges, and fans of Eren have brought up that that's why she's not talking about it, because the charges, the claims rather, were dropped. To which I would have to say, well, the charges against Ubakata were dropped. So that really doesn't seem to make sense in my opinion. And the other situation that I find odd that I don't believe she'd ever talked about was when a Rooster Teeth executive, Mike Quinn, was charged in a terrible domestic dispute where he had done terrible things to the wife, things that I cannot repeat in this video. So it kind of makes it look like Eren is willing to be silent on some issues, but then speak out on others. And coincidentally, the issues that she, at least again from what I've seen, was silent on were ones actually more related to her company and or people that she may have known and or may have worked with. So I am trying to understand Eren's position here and how she might be feeling about all of this stuff. I just can't help but get some questions though when I see the apparent silence on these other issues that I have mentioned, and yet she's willing to bring up something from 2015 regarding Ubakata, someone that I don't believe she even actually knows. And just to get facts straight here for anyone that might potentially say, well, Hirohei, you did not talk about those issues either. Well, for one, I'm not a contracted Rooster Teeth employee, however you want to put it, that's apparently trying to get Ubakata fired from the upcoming RWBY Anime project. But that said, I did actually talk about those situations anyways. I did cover the Mike Quinn situation back in 2019, and I did more recently cover the Damon Mills situation that occurred in 2022. So yeah, those are the new statements issued by Eren, and once again, I don't believe we have any further confirmation on what exactly is going on with Ubakata, so we will have to wait and see for now. If you enjoyed this segment, please consider giving this video a like, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think about this all in the comments. I'll see you there, and also in the next segment.